primary colors of light. The secondary colors of light, though, so here we have both green and red. What does Martin Luther look like? Yeah, yellow. So in British terms, they tend to say yellow, but I am of the Northwestern and by my instructor Yale School method of color naming, and that's amber to me. So it is CMY, right? Or spoiler alert, cyan, magenta, and yellow are the secondary colors of light. You would also know this from printing as well. So you could call this yellow. I call it amber. And so, but isn't that crazy, right? Red, green,
cyan, magenta, amber.
And amber. You could say that. So I am going to now take out the red, and I'm going to give us blue. And so in this mix here, this is about cyan.
So it's like a teal?
It's like a teal, yeah.
Whoa.
I have a friend who's a choreographer in Seattle, and her name is Cyana. Oh, I just think her name's so cool. Cyan's like my favorite color. Well, one of them. So that's cyan. And then if we remove the green, and we give us back the red, we get magenta. Or as my partner says, magenta. He's straight.
Wait, what?
I said, or as my partner says, magenta.
You say he's German?
Yeah.
I'm German.
Oh. Do you speak any?
I do, yeah. I
Maybe
don't
you'll
say
see him
magenta.
around. If you see a long-haired guy in a flannel shirt, that's probably him. Sometimes he meets me after work. Okay. So that is additive mixing. So anything that any two of these. So complementary. What complementary means? Hold on a second. I need more colors. One moment. Pause.
Take your time.
Taking my time, taking deep breaths. We're not in a race. Okay. All right. Okay, and that is in 2, because I labeled everything. Yeah, labeling. All right, so here we have red. And it's the complementary color of any one item, any one primary, is it's 2 other primaries combined into the secondary. So it's a primary against a secondary. That's a complementary color. Because what you're getting in the complementary color is the other parts of the spectrum that this red is filtering out. So this red filter is filtering out all the other parts of the spectrum theoretically, and you're only getting red wavelengths. So by using, what are the 2 opposite primary colors of red? Blue and green, yes. Yeah, blue and green. So blue and green here together make cyan. So that makes cyan the complementary color to red. So I am going to quickly I'm going to bring up the green and blue together to be cyan, since they're right next to each other. And so I'm going to try and mix it. So this one's good.
Whoa. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not quite there yet. I can't get the green up. There we go. Okay. And now I need to do this. Let me see if this works. Try not to trip over cables or anything. Oh, we're good. Okay, no, it's still too blue over here. So, this will start to make the red look more red, and the the cyan look more cyan, because they're complementary. So it'll make it even more vivid to the eye, especially if we were doing this under like real circumstances. But where these 2 mix, what do you think happens? Where cyan and red mix, what do you think happens? Should be white. So, because essentially what you're getting, and so imagine I had a cyan filter, right, that was just purely cyan, and we had that right next to a red, you would theoretically get a white. Now it'd probably be a pinky white, but you would get a white, yeah.
I'm still confused. Can you explain the complementary colors thing again?
Sure. So, hold on a second. You give it your shoes the opportunity. Giving me the opportunity to do my favorite thing.
Oh my god, you look so cool under the red.
All right.
They're cool, Pedro.
I have a whiteboard in my room where I write my weekly homework.
Did you say I should do that?
All right. So red and green make what? Yellow or amber?
Interesting.
Red and blue make what?
Magenta. This is honestly really smart, and I'm here for it.
The whiteboard?
Green and blue make what? And then all together, we get a white.
So definitely how it is.
That's my favorite thing. All right, sorry. So let's say we have red and cyan, right? That gives us the deathly half. That gives us white. Does that make sense? That's because cyan and red are complementary colors. So this gives us an easy way to look at this. So then what is green's complementary color?
Magenta.
Magenta. And so if you combine magenta and green, you will also get white.
Okay.
And so that makes, what's blue's complementary color then?
Amber.
Amber. So that makes, great. So we could keep doing this essentially, and I will do that next class. I will set up the primary and its complementary colors so you can see how the two of them mix. But this is a smart way if you're going to double hang. So a lot of times you'll pick, you can't do this with all the directions of your light, but like a high side would be a great thing to double hang, where you have two lights that are focused into the same area. And this is a great way to say, okay, I'm going to pick the two complementary colors. I'm going to need a lot of red, because who knows, maybe you're doing Wojciech or something, I don't know. So I'm going to pick a lot of red. So therefore, I need to use cyan in my, this would be a very highly stylistic show if you did it that way. But then when you had both those two lights on together, they would be some version of a white light, at least one that had almost all of the spectrum in it, right? So this is how you sort of plan to maximize how many colors you can get out of less amount of lights. The time on this is totally wrong. Does anyone have the time?
It is
10:57.
Almost.
Oh, great. We have 40 minutes. Fantastic. Yeah. Is that clearer now for you, Isaac? Everyone understand complementary versus, okay, good.
That's really cool.
All right. So there's another way to go about color mixing or color filtering, and that's subtractive. So far we've just been talking about additive, because we've been adding different lights to Martin Luther. Subtractive is essentially what the color filter is doing just by putting it in the light. It's subtracting parts of the wavelength to only give you other parts of the wavelength. But you can mix colors by putting two colors in a light. But in order to set this up, I need to bring up more light in the room. You can pause videoing, and we'll just take a little 5-minute break.